go live up here.
Don't forget when you log out.
Oh,
we're there. Oh my God, look at us like two rookies, you would think, just trying to work things out. But we're live now. That's the main thing. All right, guys, Novak news, Monday evenings. God, they roll around quickly. Today, we're going to be talking about the property table has been set for you, the first time buyers. Where are you? Stay tuned. Wowzy.
Oh, first home buyer.
Yeah. Mark,
we've made the dinner table for you and we're waiting for you to come and eat. How much preparation on the table do you need before you come and eat?
The white tablecloth's out, the white gloves are on, the beautiful silver cutlery, it's all there.
The gravy and all the, the mash is out.
Yeah,
it's all there.
Yeah.
The
French champagne is there, it's flowing, and we're just wondering where the first home buyers are. So actually, Mark, I'm going to start with a question for you.
Yep.
When you bought your first property,
yes,
all those years ago.
Yes, 1994.
Wow, 1994. Okay, so quite some time ago.
Still own it.
You do still own it. I want to just ask you a few questions. So the government helped you with how much of a deposit?
Zero.
Zero, the government didn't help you with the deposit at all. These are genuine questions.
No.
Okay. Were you given any sort of an incentive from the government? Stamp duty incentives, anything like that? No. Okay. Handout from your parents?
Nope.
No handout from your parents?
No.
Okay. What about a handout from a developer? I know Meritons sometimes do things.
No.
Well, how the hell did you do it?
Went out on a hard limb. The one thing that I did have was a 10% guarantee on the purchase price from my parents. So they didn't advance the cash, but they advanced the 10% by way of guarantee with the bank.
Right.
Can't do it anymore.
No, you can't do that anymore. No. And look, things have changed. Lending got a little bit harder. Like, we know all of that. We definitely know all of that.
Yeah. So when the value went up 10%, they got it revalued 10% more and they were out.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I remember those good old days.
Yeah.
And the 2 pay slips to the bank manager and you got your loan approved.
Easy.
I know, it was so easy back then.
Actually, that was a long time
But it was
ago.
different. It was different back then.
Yeah.
So they say.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just fast forward a little bit
borrowed 100.
Yeah.
Borrowed all.
Actually, just while we're on that, and I know that's not the topic for
100%
tonight, but can I ask what you paid for the property?
Yes.
What'd you pay for it?
$315,000.
And what was it?
Unit in Kelko.
1 bed, 2 bed.
Kelko, 2 bedroom.
More information,
car
please.
space, nice views.
Yes.
Must be nice. And it was a place where I was like, one day I'm going to live here. It's going to be so cool. Be by the beach. Never lived there, by the way. But it was a really, really exciting thing that made me work real hard, real motivated me. Dad didn't want me to buy it. Mum didn't want me to buy it. I hustled them, hustle to say and it was Aussie home loans at the time, I think.
Yeah.
And they just did this little guarantor thing. But yeah, the government took that away, that you can't just do that for your kids anymore.
Right. Okay. So $315,000, you purchased it back in the 90s.
Sure.
And the reason I'm asking you that question again, it's just off topic because we're going to be talking about the table has been set for you first home buyers. We're just wondering where you are and what you're waiting for.
What about yours?
But hang on, let's just go back to this for one sec, because when we have a look at what has gone on, when people say property market's going to crash and all that sort of stuff, no one has a crystal ball. But you purchased that back in the 90s, $315,000.
Must be nice.
Lots has gone on since the 90s. Like, we've gone through more than most people have gone through in their very long lives. Pandemics, GFCs. What else have we gone through since then?
What a wild ride. Like GFC 1, GFC 2. COVID, we were coming out of a recession at that time. We've had plenty of wars. We've had it's been a huge ride in the marketplace. There was that millennium bug thing that was going to happen.
The Y2K in the 2000s.
Y2K. There was the GST, like the world's going to stop now if the government charges GST on everything. Huge changes.
Made money?
Those years. It made a lot of money. It's worth $2 million now.
Okay. So that's interesting because, as I said, people are always saying, oh, the market's so bad. It's so bad. It's like, buy the property, hold the property.
It was hard. There was so many times where I was like, it's you reduced to tears. Like it was just, there's been a lot of really, really hard times along that way. It ain't been easy. Not at the beginning and not now. Like there's just, along the way, there's always trials, tribulations. My balcony fell off.
Yeah.
My balcony fell off. Actually flop. So, concrete cancer
But this is the long game.
Yes.
This is the long game. But tonight we're going to be talking about first home buyers. Where are you? Because, and I will talk in a minute about my first purchase as well. But
here, excited to talk about
here we have the government that's given the 5% deposit scheme.
Yes.
We've got the government who is doing their damn best to try and boot out the investor to give first home buyers a fair go.
Yes.
That's the message from the government. And yet the floodgates for the first home buyers have not opened. We're not seeing them coming through the gates in droves. So we're just wondering where you are. When you've had all these incentives put on the table for you and rents have gone up, factually rents have gone up. So it's interesting, isn't it? What do you think, Mark? What's your observation on it all?
Look, I think sentimentally it's a really nice way to get votes for a politician. It's the parents love you, the grandparents love you, the kids love you. I think it's been a real soft spot for politicians to go for this. Let's help the first home buyer. But, you can really force this down their throat, but there's just going to be this organic take up of, we'll buy when we're ready and we'll buy when we can, or we don't want to buy now. So I don't know if they're trying too hard and, hey, shoot me down for this. I'm sure people will. But, I think that back then when we were doing our stuff, you had to get your second job and your third job. And most of our friends and definitely our parents had 2 or 3 jobs to try to get on top of things.
Yeah.
So I think it's a different thing now, whereas it's just like given I should be paying a stamp duty, it should be easier for me. And the government's like, if you've got my, if I can get your vote, I'll work harder for that. But I don't know. I think,
But what does it take then to stimulate that part of the market then? So if all of the incentives are there and in place, and not only that, the rents have gone up.
Yeah.
So your rent's gone up.
Yes.
Let's say you're 25 years of age. That's expensive. And then property prices have come down. So you've now got a 10% discount on your property price, depending on what area you're in. Certainly that's the case here on the Northern Beaches.
Yeah.
And then you've got a 5% deposit scheme from the government. And then you've got investors. So you're not coming up against so many investors anymore in the marketplace. Like, I don't know. Am I missing something here?
Mum and dad helping as much as ever.
Well, we say that.
Mum and dad haven't stopped helping or aren't helping anymore or less. They love their children.
Yeah.
The Russians. But that effort is still there. I just think that the organic take up is the organic take up, and no matter how hard our government tries to push that take up, it's you give them like free, and there's still not going to be the take up.
Yeah.
More take up. Now we're finding the first home buyers saying, I'm just gonna thank you, yes. I'll just, I understand it's easier to buy a property now. I understand I'm getting all of those incentives, but I'll wait.
Yeah, it's the wait.
So it's
they're the most dangerous words that I'm
hearing
on a platter, at the moment. I'll wait.
The table's said, but I'll wait. And it's like, but you can do, I'll wait.
Yeah.
But I know the government has said they've done all these wonderful things, but the fundamental thing is that the way lending is set up these days because of compliance, a first home buyer for 750K purchase, I know that's a lot, but Northern Beaches, that's just what it is, needs an income of 150K.
Which is just unbelievable.
So, and they need an income of 150K because the assessment's at 9.5% when the interest rate's 6.5%. So those sort of buffers and stuff when I was, there was not as many buffers when I was buying as a first home buyer, financial buffers. It was easy to lend money. And the fund, and I was having this discussion with a client yesterday that, you know, if something goes wrong, they will take the property off you, full stop.
Yeah.
But the government, the funding is so much harder due to compliance now that there isn't that belief or that, you know, where no one wants to have that perception. No bank wants to be in that hot water, nor government. So it's really hard to lend money.
And I think that's the hardest thing.
I think that this elephant in the room is that.
I believe so as well. You know, and the thing is that it's been packaged up in such a way where, you know, as we're saying, and listen, guys, this is a conversation. Some of it's a little bit tongue in cheek because, you know, the government have packaged it up in such a way that you know, you've got your 5% deposit scheme. You've got property prices have now come down for you. You know, you
can't get the loan.
Well, and that's right. And then you can't get the loan. So I think everyone's forgetting, as you said, Mark, about the elephant in the room, how hard it is to actually get money for these guys and girls.
Yeah.
It really is.
And they're great bumpers and buffers to put in place. But
and then can we just talk about the supply versus demand for a sec? Because while, you know, all of this stuff is just being given away, oh, don't worry, we're going to boot out the investor. We're going to get the first home buyers back in the good old Aussie way.
Stop the immigrants from coming in.
Like I asked today in our sales meeting, I'm like, where did all the cranes go? Because the buildings all come to a grinding halt.
Yep.
I mean, we've got one big development across the road from our office, which is literally a couple of months away from being completed. But besides that, I'm not seeing any more cranes in the sky. So there's not much property being built. So you can push people into the market to buy all you like. But if there's nothing for them to buy and supply is shrinking, and you know, and getting money is really, really hard. I don't know, like how does that change quickly to make this easier for the first home buyers? How does it change?
We stopped trying.
What does that mean?
Look, I think we're done here. I think the incentives are in place, the prices have corrected, the lending is the lending, and I think, you know, how hard do you want to try? Like I often liken it to fatalities on a road. Sounds terrible, but if you want 0 fatalities on a road, move the speed limit to 5 kilometers an hour and everything will be okay in terms of fatalities or casualties. But you can't do that. That ain't productive. So maybe we are at that threshold now of that's just the take up of first home buyers and the life of a first home buyer. Let's get on with it. Like, let's just not start focusing so acutely on trying to fix a problem that actually ain't there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because
do they even want to buy?
Well, do you even want to go?
And do they even want to buy? Like, where were the first home buyers that were screaming from the rooftops, we are desperate to buy a property and we just can't? Like, do they even want to buy a property, or are they happy just renting? Again, it's just a genuine comment and a genuine question.
Or how hard do you have to try as a government before it becomes counterintuitive on the rest of the community? Yeah. I'll say it again. How hard do you have to try as a government? Clip this. How hard do you have to try as a government before it becomes counterintuitive to everyone else out there? Yeah. So, but it wins the votes. You know, I get that as well, but I think at the time now it's, you know, people have got there, and we saw with a couple of young people in the office that have bought property lately. They've got the support, and it wasn't government; it was their family, and it was their friends, and it was the people around us that actually that buffered them in and helped them out with advice, love, care, support, mental stimulus, whatever, to get them into that actually got them into their first home. That was one of the elements. That was a small element that those government incentives compared to all the other elements. So, you know, I think And I'll liken it to that speed limit. You just got to be productive that way, where I know we can have 5 kilometers on every highway, that's the maximum. It ain't productive. We need to be at 110. Stuff's going to happen. So, and I think with first home buyers, we're there now.
Yep, I agree.
The table's set.
Can we just spend the last few minutes just talking about this property market? Because I feel like all my days are talking to sellers and buyers and having to clean up the mess that the national news is creating. Now, I'm not going to gloss this over. This is not to say that the market is amazing, but the national news is reporting national news. There are so many different markets going on at the moment within the real estate sector, and they're happening with it suburb by suburb, and they're happening price bracket by price bracket. Now, the first, the entry level, I should say, the entry level part of the property market is actually bopping along quite well. I've got a property that I just launched literally Saturday, I think was our first official open home. We've already got a really good offer on the property that the vendor's considering. I just sold another one on Friday. That entry level stock seems to be going along quite nicely.
Bopping along.
So if the market was that dire and that terrible, when you turn on National 9 News or whatever news you watch, then just stuff would be coming on and absolutely not selling at all. We'd have no one at open homes. We'd have, massive price drops. We'd have no offers. Properties would just be sitting around on the market. We are not seeing that in certain pockets. We are definitely not seeing that. I had a buyer call me up today. I've got an off-market property that I showed on Saturday. I had 6 groups come through it. That is not quite by anyone's means, not in any market for an off-market property. And he wanted to put an offer in. Anyway, I'm guiding, I don't want to give it away because I don't want to throw anyone under the bus here, but I'm guiding at a certain level. And he came in with his offer that was approximately $500,000 less than where I'm guiding. And he said, well, the market's crashing. And I said, okay, where did you get that information from here on the Northern Beaches? This is a really nice property. And he said, well, I follow global economies and the market's crashing. That's what I'm prepared to offer. And if they don't take it today, they're going to regret it because it's going to be worth a lot less in 6 months' time. Like, this is the stuff that I find myself having to clean up all day, every day. And it's unbelievable.
I was with a restaurateur that has 20 restaurants in the Sydney CBD.
Wow.
And I said today, how's business? He says, fantastic. He gave me all the numbers of every restaurant and the trading numbers from last year. And I'm like, yeah, so liquidity is there. Money is there. People have it. It's the sentiment that's not there that this gentleman's referring to. But make no mistake, we are a super strong, resilient country, economy, property market. Unbelievable. Abstain and you will pay later. Because what I saw happen through COVID is everyone said, we'll wait. Everyone abstained.
Yeah.
Nobody filled their tummy.
Yeah.
And everyone was hungry after 18 months and they gorged into the property market and the market went boom. It went nuts.
That's right. It did. It did the complete opposite. I talk about this often. I remember we were doing a sales meeting, Mark, and you went around the table and asked all the salespeople what they thought was going to happen with the property prices during COVID, and everyone was like down 15%, down 25%, down 30%, and it did do that just for a short moment. And I remember saying up 20%. And that's exactly what it did. It did an about turn and it went bang like that.
Yep.
All we do in real estate, guys, is track numbers. That's all we do to give us the crystal ball into what is going on in our marketplace. We just track numbers. We have a WhatsApp group that just tracks stock levels in our area to see what they're doing. When stock is low, like it is at the moment, relatively low at the moment, and it has consistently sat there, the property prices cannot fall because the demand is still there. So Saturday open homes were actually so busy. And I've been taking photos and posting them onto my social media for all those people that are saying it's crashing, it's crashing, it's crashing. No, this is not a crashing market that we are seeing. It's been a turbulent market. The property market has come off in our area, Northern Beaches of Sydney, approximately 10%. But this is an active market. Saturday night, I received 3 offers on 3 different properties. That is not a bad, and they weren't bad offers. They were really good offers. We're going to get one offer got accepted, one I'm almost about to get accepted, and one we're also in negotiations with at the moment. But they weren't offensive.
Look, fundamentally, amount of people that live in the city, amount of people that live in the state, the city of Sydney and the state of New South Wales, the amount of properties there are, we're good. If it was a case where there was an oversupply by 50%, we're heading for a big correction. But if you look at it like fruit, an oversupply of fruit, you're stuffed. An undersupply of fruit for a family per week, people pay more for the product. It's just a basic thing. And as much as we get caught up in the hype of the news and the oil prices, and
they are my conversations all day, every day at the moment. All day, every day. The bottom line
is we are Sydney. We have people that want to come to Sydney. We don't have enough properties for them.
And also,
be it for rent or be it for sale. And
can I also say,
there's your property market.
And this is listings aside, like when I say, we track numbers, what I mean is we're tracking what those stock levels look like, and they can fluctuate week on week.
Yeah.
Where people go wrong, someone sent something to me the other day about Curl had taken a massive hit in price. And I said, look, we don't track data week on week. We don't even track data month on month. When we track data, we have a look at a suburb, how it's performed over a 12-month period. Then we hone out to a 3-year period, then a 5-year period, then a 10-year period. That's what paints the picture for us. Because, when we're looking at suburb data and how those prices have tracked over time, it's impossible to track it week on week, month on month. Right. So, you naturally will see a downturn. If I pulled up a graph, and I've got one on my phone because I actually had to send it to someone for Curl, and said, hang on a sec, let's peel back 5 years, let's peel back 10 years. The graph went like this. It went up, down, up, down, up, down, and it just grew and grew and grew. But it did that. It did the squiggly line all the way up. So when you're looking at a suburb, guys, make sure you're drawing back 3 years, 5 years, 10 years to start to get the true picture of what is actually going on there and what that capital growth looks like. You can't be doing week by week. You just can't. It's not going to give you the proper picture. And then auction clearance rates is the last thing I want to talk about because it literally does my head in. And that's all that gets reported on the news. Please understand that is one tiny little chapter of the book. There is a lot more involved in this market. Listen, most people aren't auctioning their properties. A lot of people aren't auctioning their properties. Why are we only tracking auction clearance rates and reporting those? And people literally take that as gospel. They literally take it as gospel. So, you should be tracking, what are you bringing up there, Mark?
Auction clearance rates.
Auction clearance rates for Sydney.
New South Wales, for New South Wales, capital City. We're 71% last year and we're 55% now. And you want to hear the funny thing?
Yeah.
Look at the data we're reading.
What's that?
How many properties are there?
Sold at auction 73. Yeah. Like that's what I'm saying.
That's in Sydney.
Guys.
That's in Sydney.
This is a
73
tiny little piece of
we're
the pie.
referencing 73 properties that are sold, 98 that sold prior, 3 that sold, 97 that got withdrawn, 42 that got passed in. We're referencing a couple hundred properties. We're hanging our entire interpretation.
We're placing all of our bets on that.
That's crap.
All on that. There you go.
Crap.
I'm telling you.
Thousands of
I'm
properties.
telling you guys. But
all the beaches had 800 properties for sale this weekend. That data is just
Listen, when you go on to domainandrealestate.com and zero consistently, 000, you're not seeing any sold properties for months and months and months.
Sold properties.
Then we've got a problem. Then we've got a problem.
Days on market, I love.
Days on market is great. Days
Big
on
fan.
market. That's all over the place at the moment. Yep. Now, for anyone, because I get lots of comments on Facebook and Instagram, and thank you guys. I enjoy it, and I do read all of them. I don't respond to all of them. I try, but I do read them all. But for all the people that may come at us and say, well, you're real estate agents, of course you're going to say the market's great. You maybe want to go back and just have a look at some of our videos over the years. Take the time to do your research, because if the market's shit, we're calling it shit. That's the truth. Sometimes it's a buyer's market, sometimes it's a seller's market, sometimes it's just a crap market. And we certainly will call it as it is. But the market is, what was the word we used the other day? Calm. The market is calm.
If you're a good stockbroker, if you're a weapon of a stockbroker, do you buy at the top of the markets?
No.
Buy at the bottom of the market?
Yes. Definitely. Oh. I just had a client in here, and he's like, want to sell? And I was like, awesome, great. What are you going to do? He said, I just see opportunity. I see opportunity to sell in this market and to buy back in, because he's going to do an upgrade. He's just like, I just see opportunity. It's like, there you go. There's a smart person.
I was with a couple an hour ago, and their take on their mortgage, the new mortgage they're going to take on, when I sat with them last time 9 months ago, was 600 grand.
Now?
400.
There you go.
Same property.
Opportunity.
Same properties.
All right. There you go, guys. Bit of a recap. First-time buyers, come. The opportunity is here. The most dangerous words I'm hearing in real estate at the moment are, we will wait. We will wait. So I don't know what you're waiting for. There's no bell. We don't ring ding-a-ling-a-ling the bell at the bottom of the market. I think we're probably here on the Northern Beaches. Don't know what's going on in other parts of the country. But certainly Northern Beaches, I reckon we're here at the bottom of the market. Stay tuned. We'll play this back and see whether we're all right or wrong.